and the brawl rises above just a simple match, and it comes into the home. And that's what we bring you today. Two brothers squaring off.
I feel like you were thinking about this for a really long time, like trying to figure out something to say, and it just felt so flat.
Yeah, it
like
was,
right on its face, and then skidded a little bit.
Welcome to like 100% of my jokes. I'm not. So
Have you been thinking about that since like you picked this match?
Yeah. So I'm not I'm funny, but I'm not like particularly humorous.
Yeah, can we call this Krark-Clan Ironworks, because that's what the deck is?
Yeah, the scrap trawler is just like a card in it.
He's a cog. He's important.
He's a cuck? Oh boy. So it looks like Billy's
there we go.
Keeping 7.
Krark, Krark Clan Ironworks. Let's get it right. Terrarian is a staple of this deck as well.
And here's a foil Horizon Canopy. Still does the same 1 damage as the non-foil Horizon Canopy. Down to 19.
A second land for Billy.
More
loading up the table with eggs. This is Billy's favorite thing to do ever in anything.
Sure. These are all interesting because some of them make mana when they go to the graveyard, some of them do not.
That's true.
And here's a Thoughtcast. Drawing 2.
So many eggs.
Alright.
With the number of eggs he actually has in hand, I would think that he would pop one there to try and get an extra card deep for a land.
His land drop, yeah.
But I don't know how many lands he's playing, so that might just not be a reasonable thing. Although I don't see why he would.
I assume you have to get to at least 3 mana to cast like Mind Stone into Krark-Clan Ironworks.
Yeah.
And Steven just gets to go nuts here. Like, I don't know how quickly he can deal 20 damage, but on this one land is doing wonders for Billy.
It could be next turn that 17 damage is coming. So we've got an Azuri in hand.
All right, Steven, Billy's picked up the sideboard and is doing a little pre-board action. Looks like Pyroclasm's coming to the front. Here's Elvish Archdruid, and I think Billy's going to have to go off this turn.
I agree.
I think Billy knows that.
Gets the third land. Doesn't have any of the action that he needs, so he needs to start digging. All of these eggs go 1 for 1 on mana.
Right.
And cycle, so...
Let's see what Billy decides to do here.
So he's not dead on board. However,
we know he has Azuri, and I think Billy's going to assume he has to beat Azuri. Is this a Hangerback Walker?
This is a Hangerback Walker.
Okay, so this makes sense in this deck in that it can turn, with a Krark-Clan Ironworks in play, it can turn like 10 mana into 20 mana, right?
It can turn 10 mana
into 12 mana.
Into 12 mana, yes.
Because it comes in with 5 counters, sacks itself, creates 2 mana, makes 5 more guys, and those make 10 total.
Yeah. So it accelerates with an Ironworks out. It's also something you can get back whenever you pop an egg when you have a scrap trawler out.
Okay. I think Steven's trying to figure out...
So this Elvish Archdruid is tapping for 1,
6.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6 currently. Plus the 1. If he had a second land here, it would be a no-brainer.
Right.
As it is, I I
Man, that's
don't
interesting.
know that he can
I wonder
get
if
there.
Billy figured it out that he didn't have to go off that turn. He had an additional turn.
I mean, it may have just been he's got to bank on going off next turn
5.
because he couldn't go off reasonably this turn.
All right. There, Billy's going to take 8. And that's the game.
8, and then all those are 3s.
Right. He cannot effectively block all those. Interesting. I wonder what would have happened if Billy would have cycled 1 egg to... Because then he draws a land, he gets to play that land and cast a... An Ichor Wellspring, that's the name of the card, which draws him a card.
Yeah, I don't think that's really where you want to be there. Like, I think you want to cast Ichor Wellsprings when you have an Ironworks already out. Like, you sack an egg to play an Ichor Wellspring to draw a card, and then sack the Ichor Wellspring to draw a card.
Well, no, sure. I mean, that's ideal, but if you don't have the Ironworks in hand, I think you gotta start doing whatever you can to roll through your deck to get it.
Okay. Yeah, I personally, the last turn that Billy had would have sacked a single egg to try and dig a little bit deeper.
Okay.
Just because he had so many. But probably wouldn't have mattered. I don't know that he could have gotten... So what he would have needed was an Ironworks, and he would have needed the mana to cast it still.
Uh-huh.
And there's no way you can get that off of, like, a single egg anyway.
Sure.
These are the outs. Saw a couple thought casts in there. A hangerback walker. The old hanger banger.
The Hanger Banger? Love the Hanger Banger.
Just one hanger banger out.
I mean, if there was a cool deck out with Hanger Banger in it, I would totally play it.
Steven with no lands, but he does have a sideboard card. We see he brings in the Fracturing Gust.
Whew.
It's a strong breeze.
That is a strong breeze coming across an artifact deck like this.
Yeah, Billy with 2 land. I saw a Ichor Wellspring, a couple eggs. Didn't really get to see what else. Here's the Fracturing Gust.
Yeah, it cost a big 5 mana. Not too much of a chore for this Elves deck to make 5 mana, but it destroys all the artifacts, gains him a bunch of life,
And enchantments.
Sure, enchantments as well, should there be any on the board.
And he gains 2 life for each permanent destroyed this way.
And this Ironworks deck is trying to kill him through like one big fireball, right?
I mean, it can also be a big hangerback walker. There's a couple different
Outlets, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there can you walking ballista
Oh, I'd imagine so.
convert a mana cost of 40? That would be a nice one. Here's a star. This is a good start. 2 artifacts on board.
I can't imagine
3 artifacts on board. Here we go.
playing a walking ballista over like a fireball unless you have a way to tutor for artifacts.
Sure.
I guess you can get it back with Scrap Trawler, which is nothing if not cute, but it could be good enough.
Yeah, rolling through like an endless number of walking ballistas is pretty good.
There's a Scrap Trawler.
There's the Scrap Trawler.
Getting scrappy.
All right.
Steven is a Heritage Druid away from going insane.
Oh, there's...
Pretty aggressive draw. Not the most bonkers, but...
Yeah, he'd love to have one more way to make some mana.
Now, if he has the... Billy popping an egg. If Steven has the Chord, he can Chord of Calling for Heritage Druid at end of turn.
Okay. Here's a cage. And another scrap trawler. So cage turns off Collected Company.
Also Chord of Calling.
And Chord of Calling.
And other green spells that have 2 words that start with C, and search your library for creatures.
I'm trying to think of these spells.
I don't think there are any.
Okay, excellent. Here's the big Mamma Jamma. So we're going to earn a block here. That's nice.
Man, Billy's in an awkward position. He can't empty his hand next turn.
Right, and that's what he really needs to do. He has Ensnaring Bridge in his hand.
So if he can get Ensnaring Bridge down to 1...
Yeah, I think he can get to 2 is what the potential is here. Okay, oh man, that's a great, that's a good draw.
Yeah, that land was
And the Terrarium
huge.
is tapped. But that doesn't much matter. Yes, so he has one card in hand, and Steven can't attack through this because all of his guys are at least 2 power because of the Archdruid.
Correct. Yeah, Steven's not in a great position here.
Man, I'm excited for Billy, though. I feel like this is where you want to be. He's going to have a long time to set up his combo.
And Steven can't really dig, is the thing
Right,
here.
with the cage in play, it's
not conducive to
viable
dig
option.
duggery. I think the draw was an Inventor's Fair. That's strong.
Yeah, so Inventor's Fair is going to be a straight up demonic tutor here, right?
I mean, it costs a little bit more than a demonic tutor, but yeah. He could even afford to wait a couple turns and gain some life if he really wants to. But I don't see a point in that.
Right?
It's going to be go-off time in 2 turns, it looks like.
Yeah, Inventor's Fair says that you can sacrifice it during your... Is it at any time? I know you gain the life during your upkeep. I
think you can sack it at any time.
To search your library for an artifact card. In this case, I imagine...
Put it in your hand.
Yeah, put it in your hand. And in this case, I imagine Billy's going to select Krark-Clan Ironworks.
I would agree.
There it is. Search, sacrifice, search.
Draws the Ironworks off the top, doesn't even need it.
Irrelevant.
All right. Things are about to get crazy.
Pretty crazy. Alright, so here's how this works. Billy's going to start sacking artifacts.
So 2 colorless. Krark-Clan Ironworks lets him sack for 2.
Alright. So now you sack Ichor Wellspring to return the Terrarium, to replay it, to sack it again, to net
You gotta
yourself
be
mana.
really careful here. Because if you get stranded with multiple lands and you just don't go off,
Yeah?
then Steven can swing back in and get you. You're only at 7.
Oh, okay, here we go. So with 2 scrap trawlers... Okay. And so by cycling through the star here, he's going to be able to get some of these cards out of his hand. Oh, and Chrome Mox is a key piece here because it's a land that he can continue to play over and over again.
Yeah. The three draws have been Mind's Eyes all.
He could. Okay.
Alright, so lots of mana for Billy. Down to 10, we've got Star, 9, Terrarian, another Star.
Mana, Mind Stone. So he can sack the Mind Stones to draw cards. So is everybody following along at home here?
We got a blue.
We got a blue mana. This is exciting.
3 lands in hand.
So with Chrome Mox and Chromatic, does he need the Wellspring too to create the infinite chain?
I don't see how you get the Wellspring back. But he can sacrifice one of the Scrap Trawlers.
Okay, so he's not on an infinite loop, he's just on a loop of a lot.
Yeah, he's just on a loop of a lot right now.
Especially because he has 2 Scrap Trawlers.
Yeah, 2 Scrap Trawlers is making this crazy.
Alright, so before he starts sacrificing the big stuff, he's going to recast these Terrarians. I think there's a lot of things he could find the Emrakul in his deck. He could find. I mean, how many win conditions would you want to play in a deck like this?
2.
2? I want like a spell-based one, and a. What? Okay, so it's just Billy asked him to concede because he has enough draw power that he could have drawn another 12 to 15 cards.
He could have just drawn through his deck.
Yeah.
Jake, ask him what his win condition is. Okay, so win condition is Emrakul.
Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn.
Yeah. So if anybody wants a list, it's just the standard list from online.
Yeah, just
Look it up.
yeah, look it up, or you can message Billy on Facebook.
Yeah, you can find Billy Comminos on Facebook and message him.
Ask him what it's like to have a twin brother that plays Magic too.
He Billy really appreciates like fans reaching out to him and asking him.
He really does.
And he likes giving out deck advice.
I think of like all the professional people I've met, and like I've met a lot of professional athletes, you know, at like meet and greets and stuff. Billy's the most gracious of all of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, way more gracious than Pete Rose.
Yeah, Pete Rose. Someone needs to tell him he's not allowed in baseball. He's a little bit of a little too into himself.
I think people have been telling him that for about 30 years now.
Yeah, but I mean, he's just not a very humble guy.
Not even with the brags?
No. He runs his brags out there just completely naked
willy-nilly.
in the buff. Well, this doesn't look like a good hand for Billy. 2 Krark-Clan Ironworks, and Emrakul the Aeon's Torn.
Well, he keeps. Stephen Comminos, what happened to his finger? I don't know. Yeah, they just got a new dog, and
They
apparently
got a new dog and named it incorrectly.
Yeah, they named it poorly, but
they're adjusting it now. The original name for this dog was Buster.
Is it Billy's dog? 100% Billy's dog?
I believe so, but I don't know.
So they named it Buster.
Yeah, I told him he should have named it Hoken. Apparently now he's claiming the dog is named Hoken Buster McDoggo, which is much more reasonable.
Apparently that boat that the internet named Bodie McBoatface went out and did some like boat stuff.
Going to do boat stuff.
There was a maiden voyage Bodie McBoatface.
There was a contest, not a contest, but a poll to name that Cincinnati Zoo Giraffe Baby.
That didn't end well, I'm certain.
Well, you have to donate money.
Oh, yeah?
To get
to get a vote?
To get a vote, yeah.
Okay.
So they're just, I think the mindset is, all right, do it, internet, let's go.
Yeah.
Show me what you got.
And they're going to have like $1 million to help.
Well, it's all going to like giraffe conservation efforts or something like that.
Sure.
But yeah, there's like, come at me, bro. We'll ruin this baby giraffe's life.
For
the sake of the species.
For the sake, yeah, they'll take one for the... If you told me I had to die to save every other human, I totally would do that.
I'd tell you to fuck off. If I'm going down, you're all going down with me.
Would you... I think I read a philosophy book with that as the opening one time. All right, here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Okay, we're down to 5 on the young Stevens side.
5? Is that a no-lander? No, it's a 1-lander.
Which is...
Yeah, there might be 2. That might be 2
deck.
lands, actually. Killleaf Palace. Nettle Sentinel go. Pretty strong opener for 5.
All right.
So his name, the name would 100% end up being Harambe if the internet had its way. Or just like Harambe 2. The Harambeing. Ancient Stirrings. That's why Billy kept his hand. That's pretty strong.
Oh, man. And Billy sees a plethora of sideboard activity.
Billy gets his pick of the litter here.
He's got an engineered explosives, a land. Apparently, that was the best card you could have taken out of it.
Well, he needed land. He's got 2 Krark-Clan Ironworks. He's got a Pyroclasm, so being able to cast his Pyroclasm next turn is a big deal.
Oh,
Steven with no follow-up.
He's gonna hold on this Pyroclasm now.
Yeah, we don't even need it.
Yeah, I don't think this matters anymore. Oh man, we've got a scrap trawler this turn and an ironworks the next turn, perhaps.
I mean, he needs a land to get the Ironworks next turn, but yeah.
I don't know. Is that enough to get the ball rolling?
It's not great, but it's a thing.
Okay.
He'd probably want to play out a second scrap trawler. He does get the land. Let's see if he runs it out there. I can't imagine not running it out there. I don't know if you start going off or trying to go off.
Yeah, I think you play it maybe and pass the turn.
Getting in for 3.
Okay.
Strong play from Billy. So he's popping the star for red so he can draw a card, but it's killing the scrap trawler, which lets him get the egg back, which is the important part of his board position right now.
Interesting. And so I wonder if there's a legitimate plan here where he just amasses 15 mana worth of artifacts on the board and then just casts the emerald. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't have to like go off per se.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. What's that land?
That is a Sanctum of Ugin. So
Wonderful.
if you were to cast a Eldrazi spell with converted mana cost 6 or 7 or greater, you can search your library for another one.
Correct. I don't know what he's searching for, is my point. Unless he really wants to chain Emrakul's.
Right. It might just be a colorless creature spell, and then you can search for an Eldrazi.
But still.
Okay, so here's
The question
6,
is-
7, 8,
Yeah, he's drawing a
9,
lot
10,
of mana.
11, 12, 13. We have 13 mana available this turn.
Also has a
Yeah, it's a colorless
ancient
spell,
stirrings.
7 or greater.
Okay,
And
so
then
yeah.
you can search for a colorless creature card.
So then his hangerback walkers can go get Emrakul.
Sure.
Seems pretty good.
So I count 13 mana for Billy this turn, and so if you were to play the second Ironworks and just pass, that makes 15 at least the next turn.
Yeah, I count 16.
Billy's got to grab a phone here because he's probably on call.
So yeah, I count
Nope.
16 mana here. He's got the 10 from just artifacts, plus 6 lands.
Okay.
We've already played a land for turn, so that's not really appetizing. But I mean, the option is a third Ironworks. That's just not ideal.
All right, here's a third Ironworks. Yeah,
Might as well just run it out there.
I think Billy's going to. Okay, here's a scrap trawler. Okay, that's a big deal.
We're trawling.
Trolling. Oh, did he see a line here? I don't think this gets him anywhere.
Scrap trawler.
Other scrap trawler. Okay.
With only the one egg, I don't think he can dig very deep here. But it might be worthwhile just to block.
Okay, what's this? This is a Mind Stone. Okay.
And he's going pretty deep for one egg.
So 5 plus the 8 that's on board makes 13.
There's another egg.
Okay.
And now he can play this other Mind Stone, and then the other Ironworks,
Oh man.
and just start.
So he. See, this is where this deck is difficult. Billy put in a little bit of legwork here, and ended up with enough mana this turn to cast an Emrakul. Alright, here's an Ancient Stirrings coming on. Alright, so as we discussed earlier, Hangerback Walker is +2 mana and can be returned to your hand off an egg. Do you want to start with it? No, you want to start with a star or a stone here, and that way you can.
All right, so we're responding to Mind Stone now, with no mana in the pool.
Collected Company. See what we got here. 11. All right, so we're just gonna generate some elves. 4, 5, 6, 12, 14.
Missed a mana there, but that's fine.
Yep, so yeah, if you're not going to sack the Mind Stone for a card, you want to tap it for a mana. So Hangerback Walker should generate. So he has enough, because we have 5 artifacts in play and 5 mana in the pool. I'm going to 11. Seven Thopters. Yeah, so 7 Thopters plus 7 Thopters is equivalent to 14 mana, plus the 2 already in pool, cast us an Emrakul. Alright, so here's the extra turn. Alright, so Annihilator 6 here, so Steven is going to have to sacrifice 6 permanents.
Yeah, with Billy at 11 life, it's a pretty healthy 11. You got to think that all these creatures are just going to go, and they certainly do.
Right. It's protection from colored spells. So no...
And hanger back on top means no shenanigans here.
No shenanigans.
So that'll
I
do
didn't
it.
think Billy had it that turn. I would have... I didn't see that narrow... I mean, that was a narrow path to victory, but he went off just a little bit sooner there than I would have.
Yeah, so I
And-
think he... So he cycled through a lot of cards.
He
I
just
think he
had
just
the one
had it.
star when he started.
Yeah, I think he just had it.
Did he just have it and he realized it and I didn't?
No,
That's
like,
perfectly
he
acceptable.
didn't even have to dig. If he really just wanted to hardcast the Emrakul, he could have just hardcast the Emrakul.
Oh, okay.
Like, he had the mana to just, like...
You're just fooling around, though?
He had 6 and 5 artifacts.
Okay.
So this way he got to keep his Krark-Clan Ironworks.
Oh, for future